Michael Landon, Rock Hudson, Montgomery Clift. To generations of moviegoers, these men embodied the fearless spirit of the American West. Strong, honorable, and seemingly larger than life. On screen, they rode across dusty frontiers with unwavering confidence, becoming symbols of a rugged ideal that Hollywood carefully celebrated for decades. But behind the cameras, many stars of the studio era lived under rules far stricter than any script they performed. During Hollywood's golden age, an actor's career could be damaged not only by scandal, but by rumors alone. Public image was managed with extraordinary precision, while private lives were often hidden behind carefully crafted publicity campaigns. In this video, we'll revisit 10 legendary Western stars whose lives reveal just how much pressure existed beneath the fame. Some stories are confirmed by biographies and historical records, while others remain long-debated chapters of Hollywood history. As we count down, the line between image and reality becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. Which story changed the way you see classic Hollywood the most? Before he became the compassionate father of Little House on the Prairie, or the comforting angel of Highways to Heaven, Michael Landon earned his place in television history as Little Joe Cartwright on Bonanza. Week after week, audiences saw him as the energetic young cowboy whose courage and loyalty helped define one of the most successful Western series ever produced. His wholesome image made him one of America's most trusted television stars. And for years, that reputation seemed almost untouchable, away from the cameras. However, Landon's personal life was far more turbulent than the calm confidence he projected on screen. His multiple marriages, demanding work habits, and reputation for taking complete creative control over his productions were well documented by colleagues and biographers. Cast and crew frequently described him as intensely driven, a perfectionist who insisted on overseeing everything from scripts to editing because he believed every detail mattered. Over the years, rumors about Landon's sexuality occasionally surfaced in Hollywood gossip circles, but no credible historical evidence has ever confirmed those claims. And Landon himself never publicly identified as gay or bisexual. Because those stories remain unverified, historians generally treat them as speculation rather than established fact. In April 1991, Landon announced that he had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Just 3 months later, he passed away at the age of 54, leaving behind a television legacy that continues to resonate with generations of viewers. His story reminds us that public admiration and private certainty are not always the same, and that history deserves to distinguish documented facts from enduring rumors. While Michael Landon's story is surrounded largely by speculation, the next actor faced whispers that reached far deeper into Hollywood's studio system. His career was protected with extraordinary care, and decades later, the unanswered questions surrounding his private life still fascinate classic film historians. At the height of Hollywood's golden age, few leading men possessed the elegance and screen presence of Tyrone Power. As one of 20th Century Fox's most valuable stars, he captivated audiences in films such as Jesse James, where his composed confidence and effortless charisma helped redefine the romantic Western hero. To moviegoers, Power represented sophistication, courage, and timeless masculinity. To the studio, he was a priceless asset whose reputation required constant protection. Behind that polished image, however, gossip about his private life circulated quietly within Hollywood for years. Biographers have noted that Power was the subject of persistent rumors involving both women and men, but no conclusive evidence has ever verified those claims, and the actor never publicly addressed them. During the studio era, even unsubstantiated speculation could threaten a star's marketability, giving studios every reason to tightly manage publicity and discourage controversy. Power's remarkable career came to an abrupt end in 1958, while filming Solomon and Sheba in Spain. He collapsed during a sword-fighting scene after suffering a massive heart attack and died at just 44 years old. His sudden passing shocked both Hollywood and audiences worldwide, leaving behind not only an extraordinary film legacy, but also questions that history has never fully answered. Unlike Tyrone Power, the next actor's private life would eventually become a matter of public record, changing not only how the world remembered him, but also how Hollywood confronted one of the most difficult chapters in its own history. By the 1950s, Rock Hudson had become one of Hollywood's defining leading men. With his commanding presence, effortless charm, and unmistakable screen charisma, he fit perfectly into the era's vision of the ideal American hero. Whether starring in westerns like Gun Fury and The Lawless Breed, or romantic dramas opposite Doris Day, Hudson projected confidence, strength, and reliability, qualities that made him one of the industry's biggest box office attractions. Unlike many rumors surrounding other stars of his generation, Hudson's private life has since been extensively documented. Historians agree that he was gay, but during the studio era, revealing that truth could have ended his career. His powerful agent, Henry Wilson, carefully managed Hudson's public image, and in 1955, Hudson married Phyllis Gates, a decision widely believed by many biographers to have helped counter growing speculation about his sexuality. The marriage ended less than 3 years later, while Hudson continued protecting his private life from public scrutiny. In 1985, Hudson became the first major Hollywood star to publicly disclose that he was living with AIDS. His announcement transformed public awareness of the epidemic and challenged long-held assumptions about both celebrity and illness. When he died later that year at the age of 59, he left behind not only an extraordinary film career, but also a legacy that changed the conversation around HIV/AIDS forever. Rock Hudson's story eventually became known around the world. The next actor, however, carried his private struggles in almost complete silence, while personal tragedy slowly changed both his appearance and the course of his remarkable career. When Red River premiered in 1948, audiences immediately recognized that Montgomery Clift was unlike the typical Western hero. Acting opposite John Wayne, he brought a quiet intensity and emotional vulnerability rarely seen in frontier films. Instead of relying solely on toughness, Clift portrayed characters with visible inner conflict, helping usher in a more natural and psychologically complex style of acting that would influence generations to come. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Clift never built his career around a carefully manufactured public persona. Biographers widely agree that he had relationships with both men and women, although he chose never to define his sexuality publicly. In an era when studios closely monitored their stars' personal lives, Clift guarded his privacy while focusing almost entirely on his craft. His life changed dramatically in 1956 after a devastating car accident following a dinner at Elizabeth Taylor's home. The crash left him with severe facial injuries that required multiple reconstructive surgeries and caused lasting physical pain. Despite returning to the screen with remarkable determination, he struggled for years with addiction and declining health. Clift died in 1966 at just 45 years old, remembered not only for his extraordinary talent, but also for the emotional honesty that set him apart from nearly every leading man of his generation. While Montgomery Clift chose privacy over publicity, the next star became one of America's biggest teen idols. Behind his clean-cut smile, however, Hollywood was working tirelessly to protect an image that the studio feared could disappear overnight. Few actors captured the image of the all-American heartthrob as completely as Tab Hunter. With his athletic build, easygoing charm, and boy-next-door appeal, Warner Brothers quickly transformed him into one of the biggest young stars of the 1950s. Films such as Gunman's Walk reinforced his reputation as a dependable Western hero, while fan magazines celebrated him as the perfect bachelor. Behind the carefully polished publicity, however, Hunter was living a life he could not openly discuss. In 1955, his arrest at a private gathering briefly made headlines, prompting the studio to launch an aggressive campaign to protect his image through carefully staged public appearances and highly publicized dates with female stars. Decades later, Hunter openly acknowledged that he was gay in his 2005 memoir, Tab Hunter Confidential, offering readers an honest account of the pressures faced by closeted actors during Hollywood's studio era. His story became one of the clearest first-hand accounts of how image often outweighed personal freedom in classic Hollywood. While Tab Hunter eventually chose to tell his own story, the next actor never publicly addressed the rumors that followed him, leaving historians to separate documented facts from decades of Hollywood speculation. Long before audiences knew Rory Calhoun as one of Hollywood's dependable Western stars, his life had already taken a path unlike most leading men. As a teenager, he spent time in juvenile detention and later served jail time for robbery before eventually finding a second chance in the film industry. That troubled past, rather than damaging his career, became part of the rugged authenticity he brought to westerns such as The Silver Whip and Dawn at Socorro. Although Calhoun's criminal history was openly documented, his private life became the subject of occasional Hollywood gossip for decades. Some biographies and entertainment columns referenced rumors about his sexuality, but no reliable historical evidence has ever confirmed those claims, and Calhoun never publicly addressed them. Instead, he continued working steadily in film and television while maintaining the tough, masculine image audiences expected. His career demonstrates how easily speculation could become part of a celebrity's legacy, even when the historical record offers no definitive answers. The next actor's story was very different. Unlike Rory Calhoun, his career was dramatically altered by a real-life scandal that made national headlines, and Hollywood's response was swift and unforgiving. George Maharis rose to fame almost overnight through the hit television series Route 66, where his rugged looks and rebellious energy made him one of Hollywood's most promising young stars. Producers saw him as a versatile leading man who could move effortlessly between crime dramas, action films, and Western productions. For a brief period in the early 1960s, his future seemed exceptionally bright. That momentum changed after two widely reported arrests in 1967 and 1974 involving allegations of lewd conduct with another man. Unlike the rumors that surrounded many actors of his era, these legal incidents were extensively covered by the press and had an immediate impact on his career. As public attention intensified, major roles became increasingly difficult to secure, and Maharis gradually faded from Hollywood's front ranks. He rarely discussed the controversy in detail, choosing instead to live a far more private life. His story reflects how quickly public perception could reshape a promising career during an era when personal scandals often overshadowed professional achievement. George Maharis saw his reputation challenged by public controversy. The next actor, however, spent decades concealing a deeply personal truth while becoming one of Hollywood's most respected and unforgettable performers. Long before audiences forever associated Anthony Perkins with Norman Bates in Psycho, he had already earned recognition as one of Hollywood's most gifted young actors. In films such as Friendly Persuasion and the Western drama The Tin Star, Perkins stood apart from the traditional cowboy archetype. Rather than portraying fearless gunslingers, he brought intelligence, restraint, and emotional complexity to his characters, offering a different vision of masculinity that critics widely admired. Behind that success, however, Perkins lived through an era when many performers felt compelled to hide their private lives. Biographers have documented that he had relationships with men before later marrying photographer Barry Berenson in 1973, with whom he had 2 sons. Throughout his career, he rarely discussed his personal life publicly, preferring to keep the spotlight on his work rather than himself. In the late 1980s, Perkins was diagnosed with HIV, though he chose not to disclose his illness publicly. He died in 1992 from AIDS-related complications at the age of 60. His family revealed his diagnosis only after his passing, a decision that reflected the stigma surrounding HIV/AIDS at the time. Today, Anthony Perkins is remembered not only for one of cinema's most iconic performances, but also as a talented actor whose private struggles remained largely hidden throughout his life. Anthony Perkins spent years protecting his privacy. But the next actor had been doing the same since Hollywood's silent film era, decades before the studio system had even perfected the art of manufacturing a movie star's public image. Long before the classic Western reached its golden years, Ramon Novarro had already become one of MGM's brightest stars. His breakthrough performance in the 1925 epic, Ben-Hur, transformed him into an international sensation, and the studio promoted him as one of Hollywood's great romantic leading men. Handsome, refined, and immensely popular, Novarro represented the glamour and sophistication of the silent film era, earning a devoted following around the world. Behind the carefully managed publicity, however, historians widely agree that Novarro was gay, though he lived during a period when revealing such a truth could have ended a major career. Studio executives carefully cultivated his public image, while biographies describe him as maintaining close relationships within discreet social circles away from the spotlight. Like many performers of his generation, he protected his private life with extraordinary caution. As the film industry transitioned from silent pictures to sound, Novarro's career gradually declined, although he continued acting in smaller roles. In 1968, his life ended in shocking fashion when he was murdered during a robbery at his Los Angeles home. The tragedy dominated headlines, yet much of the media focused more on sensational speculation than on celebrating his remarkable contributions to cinema. Today, Novarro is remembered as both a pioneering screen idol and a symbol of the immense personal sacrifices demanded by early Hollywood. Ramon Novarro's life reminds us that Hollywood's greatest legends often carried burdens invisible to their audiences. Looking back at all 10 stories together, a striking pattern begins to emerge. One that says as much about the industry itself as it does about the stars who helped build it. Looking back, these stories reveal far more than the hidden lives of a handful of famous actors. They reflect an era when Hollywood carefully shaped public images, often expecting performers to fit a version of success that left little room for personal authenticity. Some of the stories you've heard today are supported by biographies, interviews, and historical records. Others remain subjects of debate, reminding us that history should always distinguish documented fact from enduring rumor. What remains undeniable is the extraordinary legacy these actors left behind. Their performances continue to entertain audiences decades later, proving that great talent can outlast changing headlines, gossip, and controversy. As viewers, perhaps the most meaningful lesson is not to judge people solely by the image presented on a movie screen. Every public figure carries a private story, and those stories are often far more complex than we realize. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through classic Hollywood history, let us know which actor's story surprised you the most. And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating stories from Hollywood's golden age.
For decades, millions of people watched these celebrities win Olympic medals, headline blockbuster films, dominate music charts, and captivate audiences around the world. To the public, their lives appeared glamorous, successful, and seemingly complete. But behind the cameras, many were carrying a deeply personal truth that few people ever saw. Their transformations didn't happen overnight, and they weren't simply about changing appearances. Each journey involved years of difficult choices, private struggles, and the courage to live authentically despite intense public attention. Some risked legendary careers. Others faced rejection, misunderstanding, or relentless media scrutiny. Yet every one of them changed not only their own lives, but also the conversation around identity for generations to come. In today's video, we'll explore 10 remarkable stories that go far beyond before and after. And by the time we reach our final celebrity, you may discover that the most extraordinary transformation had very little to do with appearance at all. Before millions of people recognized Dylan Mulvaney online, she was already pursuing a career that demanded discipline long before it promised recognition. A graduate of the University of Cincinnati's College Conservatory of Music, Dylan spent years training in musical theater and later toured nationally with the Book of Mormon, where consistency and professionalism mattered far more than internet fame. Everything changed in March 2022 when she began documenting her transition through a series called Days of Girlhood. Rather than presenting a polished image, Dylan chose to share everyday moments, both joyful and difficult, with remarkable openness. As her audience grew into the millions, so did the public conversation surrounding her. Support came from many corners, while criticism arrived just as quickly, placing her at the center of one of the most visible cultural debates of the decade. Despite the intense attention, Dylan continued pursuing the stage where her career had originally begun. Her return to Broadway reflected not only professional achievement, but also a commitment to living openly as herself. But Dylan's story unfolded in the age of social media. The next celebrity carried a similar truth in complete silence for decades, while the entire world believed they already knew who that person was. Long before the world knew the name Caitlyn Jenner, millions admired Bruce Jenner as one of America's greatest athletes. At the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal, Jenner captured the gold medal in the decathlon, setting a world record and becoming a national icon almost overnight. The image of the champion draped in the American flag soon appeared everywhere, from magazine covers to the front of Wheaties cereal boxes, symbolizing determination, strength, and success. Yet behind those celebrated victories was a private struggle that remained hidden for decades. Caitlyn has spoken publicly about experiencing gender dysphoria from an early age, describing how athletic competition became a way to channel focus while keeping deeply personal feelings out of the public eye. During a period when conversations about gender identity were rare, revealing that truth seemed almost unimaginable for someone whose public image represented traditional masculinity. In 2015, after years of reflection, Caitlyn introduced herself to the world in a widely discussed Vanity Fair cover story, accompanied by the simple words, "Call me Caitlyn." The announcement marked one of the most significant and widely covered public transitions in modern history. Whether praised or criticized, it sparked conversations that reached far beyond sports or celebrity culture, encouraging millions to reconsider how identity and authenticity are understood. While Caitlyn's transformation unfolded under the brightest spotlight imaginable, the next story belongs to someone who quietly crossed cultural boundaries in a way that attracted far less attention. But unlike many of the public figures on this list, Lily Rosen never sought the spotlight. Her story became meaningful not because of celebrity, but because of the extraordinary path she chose to follow. Raised in Brooklyn within a deeply traditional Hasidic Jewish community, Lily grew up in an environment where faith, family, and long-established customs shaped nearly every aspect of daily life. Leaving that world meant risking far more than public opinion. It meant stepping away from a way of life that had defined her since childhood. What makes Lily's journey especially remarkable is that she never abandoned her cultural roots. Instead, she found a way to preserve them while embracing her authentic identity. Drawing on her first-hand knowledge of Yiddish language and Orthodox Jewish traditions, she became a respected cultural consultant, helping filmmakers portray these communities with greater accuracy and respect. Her work on acclaimed productions, such as Unorthodox and Menashe, demonstrated that authenticity extends beyond personal identity. It also includes honoring the stories and traditions that shape us. Rather than choosing between two worlds, Lily built a bridge connecting both. While Lily quietly helped preserve culture behind the scenes, the next celebrity was making history in front of millions, using music to prove that talent can speak louder than prejudice. Long before Kim Petras stood on the Grammy stage, her name had already sparked conversations far beyond the music industry. Growing up in Germany, she openly expressed her female identity at an age when few young people were willing or able to do so publicly. Her journey attracted national media attention, not because she was chasing fame, but because discussions surrounding transgender youth were still unfamiliar to much of the public. As the years passed, Kim chose to let her work define her. Instead of remaining known only for her personal story, she focused on building a career in pop music. Releasing independent singles and collaborating with producers across Europe and the United States, she gradually earned a loyal fan base through catchy melodies, polished vocals, and relentless dedication. Success came slowly, but it came on her own terms. A defining milestone arrived in 2023 when Kim, alongside Sam Smith, won the Grammy Award for Best Pop Duo/Group Performance for Unholy. The achievement made her the first openly transgender woman to receive a Grammy in that category, marking a historic moment for both the music industry and LGBTQ+ representation. Today, Kim's career is remembered not simply because she broke records, but because she proved that lasting success is built on talent, perseverance, and the willingness to keep moving forward despite public scrutiny. Music helped Kim challenge expectations on a global stage. Our next celebrity did something similar through fashion and television, using art to redefine how an entire generation sees identity and self-expression. For many viewers, Hunter Schafer became a familiar face through HBO's Euphoria, where her portrayal of Jules earned widespread praise for its emotional depth and authenticity. But long before television introduced her to a global audience, Hunter had already established herself in another highly competitive world, the international fashion industry. As a teenager, she walked the runway for prestigious fashion houses including Prada, Dior, Gucci, and Miu Miu, building a reputation as a model whose presence challenged conventional ideas of beauty. Yet modeling was only one part of her story. Even before achieving fame, Hunter had become involved in public advocacy, joining legal efforts that opposed North Carolina's controversial House Bill 2, legislation widely criticized for restricting restroom access for transgender individuals. Her participation reflected a willingness to speak out long before cameras followed her every move. When Euphoria premiered in 2019, audiences connected not only with Hunter's performance, but with the honesty she brought to a character navigating identity, relationships, and self-discovery. Critics praised her ability to portray complex emotions with remarkable nuance, helping establish her as one of Hollywood's most promising young talents. Today, Hunter's influence extends beyond entertainment, demonstrating that creativity and advocacy can exist side by side without either diminishing the other. Hunter found her voice while still building her career. The next celebrity, however, faced an entirely different challenge, choosing authenticity only after already becoming one of Hollywood's most celebrated stars. Years before the world knew Elliot Page by his current name, audiences recognized him as one of Hollywood's most gifted young actors. His breakout performance in Juno earned widespread critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination, establishing him as a rising star capable of bringing intelligence and emotional depth to every role. Films such as Inception and later The Umbrella Academy further cemented his place among the industry's most respected performers. Yet behind that successful career, Elliot has spoken about feeling increasingly disconnected from the public image he was expected to maintain. As his profile continued to grow, so did the pressure to fit expectations that never truly reflected who he was. Rather than speaking openly, he focused on his work, carrying that private struggle through years of professional success. In December 2020, Elliot publicly announced that he is transgender, thanking supporters while asking for patience and respect during an intensely personal moment. The announcement was met with widespread support from colleagues, fans, and advocacy organizations, while also bringing renewed public attention to the experiences of transgender men, a group that has often received far less visibility in mainstream media. Elliot's journey demonstrated that authenticity does not erase past accomplishments. It allows them to be seen through a more complete and honest perspective. While Elliot transformed the conversation through film, the next woman would reshape it from an entirely different position. Not as an actor, but as a writer, producer, and one of the most influential voices behind the camera. While many public figures use their platform to tell personal stories, Janet Mock built a career by helping others' stories reach the world. Raised in Hawaii, she experienced the challenges of discovering her identity at a young age. But rather than allowing those experiences to define her limits, she transformed them into a source of purpose and creativity. Janet first gained national recognition with her best-selling memoir, Redefining Realness, a deeply personal account that explored identity, family, resilience, and the realities of growing up as a transgender woman. The book was praised not only for its honesty, but also for encouraging thoughtful conversations about experiences that had long been overlooked in mainstream publishing. Her influence expanded even further when she moved into television. As a writer, director, and producer for the acclaimed FX series Pose, Janet helped bring authentic stories of transgender women and New York's ballroom culture to a global audience. Working behind the camera gave her the opportunity to shape how these lives were portrayed, emphasizing dignity, complexity, and humanity rather than stereotypes. Today, Janet's legacy extends beyond her own achievements. She helped create space for more voices to be heard, proving that meaningful representation begins not only with who appears on screen, but also with who helps tell the story. Janet changed Hollywood by shaping the stories audiences watched. Our final celebrity changed it by becoming one of the first transgender actresses to achieve lasting mainstream success, and in doing so, inspired countless others to believe they belonged there too. Long before Laverne Cox became one of television's most recognizable advocates for transgender visibility, she was a young girl growing up in Mobile, Alabama, searching for a place where she could simply be herself. In interviews, Laverne has spoken openly about the isolation and bullying she experienced during childhood, challenges that made everyday life feel uncertain. Yet amid those difficulties, she found comfort in the performing arts, discovering that dance and acting offered a rare sense of freedom and self-expression. After years of training and perseverance, Laverne's career reached a turning point in 2013 with Netflix's Orange is the New Black. Her portrayal of Sophia Bursay introduced millions of viewers to a transgender character whose story was written with empathy, humor, and emotional complexity. The performance earned widespread critical acclaim and made Laverne the first openly transgender person to receive a Primetime Emmy Award nomination in an acting category. Rather than treating that achievement as a finish line, she used her growing platform to advocate for greater understanding, inclusion, and equal opportunity. Through public speaking, documentaries, interviews, and community work, Laverne continued encouraging conversations that reached far beyond the entertainment industry. Looking back at every journey we've explored today, one thing becomes clear. Each of these individuals changed far more than their own lives. Their stories leave us with a question that extends well beyond fame, and that's where our final reflection begins. As we've seen throughout this journey, every story on today's list is unique. Some unfolded under the glare of international media, while others developed far from the spotlight. Their backgrounds, careers, and experiences may be very different, yet they all share one remarkable quality: the courage to live according to their own truth, even when doing so came with enormous personal and professional risks. Whether you're inspired by these decisions or simply curious about the lives behind the headlines, these stories remind us that public appearances rarely reveal the full picture. Behind every familiar face is a human being navigating challenges, hopes, and questions that often remain invisible to the world. History rarely remembers people only for how they looked. More often, it remembers those who helped change the conversations of their time. Perhaps that is the most lasting transformation of all, not a change in appearance, but a change in understanding. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more remarkable stories from Hollywood's past and present. Until next time, thanks for watching. Have you ever looked at a celebrity and barely recognized them?
Yes,
Some
I'm
of
going.
Hollywood's biggest stars have undergone such dramatic weight loss that fans are still
only
debating
this
what
film
really changed.
So they're
Was it
both like two
discipline,
of the best.
age, medical treatment, or
Fun
something
to
else
arrive
entirely?
at the party.
Right. In this video, we'll revisit some of the most talked about
God.
celebrity weight loss
Bald
transformations
eyeball,
with
as they say,
honest
was-
then and now comparisons,
overseas,
separating confirmed
and
facts
everyone
from
was talking-
speculation while exploring how these changes affected their careers and public image.
I'm doing a book,
Stay
my
until
memoirs,
end
The
to
Woman
see
in
which
Red.
transformation shocked fans the
Very tall
most.
then as well.
Yeah.
And as you watch, let us know in the comments. Which celebrity's transformation surprised you the most, and who do you
Fiction, which
think
is what I
changed for the
read,
better?
so, and now I write screenplays, which is what I watch.
And then you have to get another.
Kirstie Alley had the kind of screen presence that instantly made audiences smile. Best known for her Emmy-winning role as Rebecca Howe on Cheers, she became one of television's brightest stars
Yes, I'm
throughout the
going.
1980s
Yes, well,
and
I go easy.
1990s.
It's
With her
nerve-wracking no matter
expressive eyes, unmistakable
what
charm,
picture it is.
and natural
Are you
comedic
saying
talent.
to...
Don't you
She
have to
seemed
be very
destined
tolerant?
for a career that would last forever. Yet behind the applause, Kirstie faced a struggle that millions of Americans could relate to, an ongoing battle with her weight. Over the years, her dramatic weight fluctuations became frequent tabloid headlines. Rather than hiding from the public, she spoke openly about the challenges of emotional eating and the difficulty of maintaining long-term weight loss. Her highly publicized partnership with Jenny Craig inspired many fans who were fighting similar battles, although she later admitted that keeping the weight off was far more difficult than losing it. Despite constant media scrutiny, Kirstie continued acting and appearing on television with honesty and resilience.
And that's when everybody said,
Sadly, she passed away in December 2022 after being diagnosed with colon cancer, leaving behind a legacy that extended far beyond comedy. Her story reminds us that even the brightest stars often fight private battles that few truly understand. But Kirstie's transformation wasn't the only one that shocked Hollywood. Next, we'll look at a former America's sweetheart whose dramatic weight loss sparked years of controversy. Tara Reid was once considered one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. With her girl-next-door charm, radiant smile,
Dating
and
and
memorable
relationships in the
performances
90s,
in
and that's not
American
an
Pie
easy
and The
thing,
Big
you know?
Lebowski,
And that's
she became a
lots of it.
defining face of the late
Use like a
1990s
young
and early
cast. I mean,
2000s.
you wouldn't get this. It really kind of
At the height of her fame, it seemed she had everything: a successful career, magazine covers, and millions of devoted fans. But over time, her appearance began changing dramatically, sparking endless public discussion. In 2004, Tara underwent breast augmentation and body contouring procedures, including liposuction.
So they're both like two of the best.
Unfortunately,
in
the
my
surgeries
opinion.
produced
Is
widely
that white
reported
colors? You do like a
complications that left
dewlip.
visible
Bright colors, you do red lip.
irregularities.
I like that.
Around the same time, her noticeably thinner frame fueled ongoing speculation about her health, even though she repeatedly stated that she was naturally slim and not intentionally trying to lose excessive weight. The relentless media attention, combined with harsh criticism of her appearance, placed enormous pressure on both her personal life and career.
How you guys doing?
We're great.
Tara later sought treatment for alcohol
So
addiction
bad
in
that it's
2008
good, and it's
and
just-
gradually rebuilt
I mean,
her
we read
life
it,
while
like, God,
continuing to work in film and television.
Sillier than the rest. What can
Her
we
journey
expect?
is a
Tara,
reminder
it's
that
gonna be
behind
amazing.
every
We have
headline
some
is
real
a real
shots here
person
in the
trying to
world.
move forward despite constant public judgment. And if you think Tara's transformation was surprising, the next Hollywood icon completely reinvented herself through extraordinary discipline rather than scandal. Linda Hamilton forever changed action movies with her unforgettable portrayal of Sarah Connor in the Terminator franchise. While audiences first knew her as an ordinary young woman, she stunned the world when she returned in Terminator 2. Judgment Day with one of the most dramatic physical transformations Hollywood had ever seen. Through months of intense strength training, strict discipline, and military-style conditioning, Linda built an incredibly lean, muscular physique that became an icon of female empowerment and inspired countless fans. Away from the cameras, however, her personal life was far more challenging than most people realized.
Arrive at the party.
For years, Hamilton struggled
year
with severe
5,
mood swings
and
before
this
eventually being
I love
diagnosed
that
with
about
bipolar
them.
disorder.
I really do.
Before receiving proper treatment, she admitted that alcohol and drugs became unhealthy ways of coping with emotional highs and lows, affecting both her health and career. Once she received the right medical care, Linda gradually regained control of her life and chose to speak openly about mental health, helping reduce the stigma surrounding bipolar disorder. Her transformation wasn't simply physical, it was emotional, mental, and deeply personal. Today, she is admired not only for becoming one of Hollywood's toughest action stars, but also for her honesty, resilience, and remarkable determination to overcome life's greatest obstacles. But Linda's incredible transformation came through discipline and recovery. The next Hollywood legend faced a very different journey, where illness quietly changed both her body and career. Kim Basinger captivated Hollywood with a timeless elegance that made her one of the most admired actresses of the 1980s and 1990s.
Oh my God!
From her unforgettable role in Batman to her Academy Award-winning performance in LA Confidential, she built a career defined by beauty, sophistication, and
but your accent
remarkable
is
talent.
wonderful. It's right
Yet,
on the
as
money.
the years passed, fans couldn't help but notice subtle changes in her appearance, leading to years of speculation about cosmetic procedures and weight loss. While rumors often dominated headlines, Kim never publicly confirmed undergoing plastic surgery, choosing instead to keep her private life out of the spotlight. What many people didn't realize was that her greatest battles had nothing to do with appearance. Basinger has spoken openly about living with severe anxiety and agoraphobia,
on that.
conditions that at times made it difficult even to leave her home. These challenges, along with financial setbacks and the constant pressure of fame, shaped much of her personal journey. Despite everything, she refused to let those obstacles define her. Kim gradually returned to acting while continuing to advocate for animal welfare and charitable causes. Her story proves that true transformation isn't always measured by physical changes, but by the quiet strength it takes to keep moving forward despite life's most difficult challenges. But while Kim's struggles remained largely hidden from public view, the next Hollywood legend experienced a transformation driven by a painful illness that changed nearly every aspect of her life. Kathleen Turner burst onto the Hollywood scene with a confidence and charisma that few actresses could match. Her smoky voice, commanding screen presence, and unforgettable performances in films like Body Heat, Romancing the Stone, and The War of the Roses made her one of the biggest stars of the 1980s. At the peak of her career, she seemed unstoppable. But behind the glamorous image, an unexpected health crisis would dramatically alter both her appearance and her future. In the mid-1990s, Turner was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, a painful autoimmune disease that caused chronic inflammation, limited mobility, and significant changes to her body. The condition made everyday activities, and even acting, extremely difficult. As the pain intensified, she later admitted that alcohol became a way to cope before she eventually sought healthier treatment and support. Meanwhile, changes in her appearance led to years of speculation about cosmetic procedures, though Turner has never publicly confirmed those rumors. Instead of allowing public opinion to define her, she focused on managing her health while continuing to work on stage, in film, and on television. Her story is a powerful reminder that some physical transformations are not the result of choice, but of life's unexpected challenges and the courage required to face them with dignity. But Kathleen's transformation was shaped by illness. The next Hollywood beauty faced a very different journey, one marked by changing beauty standards, personal struggles, and a life far from the spotlight. Kelly LeBrock didn't just become famous in the 1980s, she became one of the decade's defining beauty icons. With her striking features, unforgettable smile, and glamorous presence, she captured audiences in films like The Woman in Red and Weird Science. At the height of her career, Kelly seemed to embody Hollywood perfection. Yet as the years passed, her life took a very different direction. and the spotlight gradually faded. Following her highly publicized divorce from actor Steven Seagal, LeBrock stepped away from Hollywood to focus on raising her children and rebuilding her personal life.
Here we are at the Beverly Hills Film Festival. Couldn't help noticing you tonight.
I'm doing a book, my memoirs, The Woman in Red.
So you're a good cook then.
I just remember you.
Kelly
in
has
Weird
never
Science
publicly
with that
confirmed those
gorgeous
rumors.
battle
Right?
dress.
Yeah.
What she has
He's
openly
quite the
discussed,
inspiration.
however,
He
is her
radiates
struggle with
when-
alcohol addiction, which eventually led her to seek treatment and embrace a quieter lifestyle away from constant media attention. Rather than chasing fame, she devoted much of her time to family and charitable work, particularly supporting children facing serious
Yes,
illnesses.
I started modeling when I was 16.
Kelly's journey
They
shows
couldn't
that some
stop
of
laughing.
life's
We had to keep
greatest
reshooting.
transformations
And
happen
that
far
people
from
will be
movie
surprised
sets,
by.
where personal
You
healing
made some
becomes
wonderful-
far more meaningful than maintaining a flawless public image. But Kelly chose privacy over Hollywood. The next star took the opposite approach, speaking openly about both her appearance and the cosmetic procedures that kept her in the headlines. Brigitte Nielsen was impossible to overlook. Standing nearly 6 feet tall with striking features and undeniable confidence, the Danish model and actress became one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars during the 1980s. After building a successful modeling career, she gained international fame through films like Red Sonja, Rocky IV, and Beverly Hills Cop 2. Her bold personality and glamorous image made her a favorite of both moviegoers and the tabloids. But maintaining that image came with a price. Over the years, Nielsen faced a very public battle with alcohol addiction, eventually seeking treatment and appearing on celebrity rehabilitation programs in 2007. As her appearance evolved, she chose an unusually honest approach by openly acknowledging that she had undergone several cosmetic procedures in an effort to maintain her youthful look. Unlike many celebrities who avoided the subject, Brigitte spoke candidly about the pressures of aging in Hollywood and the expectations placed on women in the entertainment industry. Her remarkable comeback in Creed 2 introduced her to a new generation while reminding longtime fans of the strength that had always defined her career.
I'm very thin.
Brigitte's journey proves that true resilience isn't about avoiding setbacks. It's about finding the courage to keep moving forward after every one of them. But while Brigitte openly discussed her changing appearance, our final story belongs to a beloved Hollywood icon whose transformation became deeply connected to one of cinema's greatest franchises. Carrie Fisher became a cultural icon the moment she appeared as Princess Leia in Star Wars. With her sharp wit, fearless personality, and unforgettable performance, she inspired generations of moviegoers and forever secured her place in Hollywood history.
Hitler had an illegitimate son.
Yet behind the
mother,
confident smile and legendary
before he really
role
broke out onto
was
the
a
scene
woman
into the
fighting
big clubs.
battles that were far more difficult than anything seen on screen. Throughout her adult life, Fisher spoke openly about living with bipolar disorder and her long struggle with alcohol and substance addiction. The medications she needed, combined with the natural effects of aging and years of personal health challenges, contributed to noticeable changes in her weight over time. Rather than hiding those changes, Carrie confronted them with remarkable honesty and humor, using interviews, books, and stage performances to break the stigma surrounding mental illness. Her best-selling memoir, Wishful Drinking, became a powerful reflection on fame, recovery, and resilience, earning admiration from fans around the world. Carrie passed away in December 2016 following a cardiac emergency, but her legacy extends far beyond Star Wars.
When people say that.
She reminded millions that true courage isn't about looking perfect. It's about embracing your imperfections, speaking your truth, and continuing to move forward despite life's greatest struggles. As we've seen, every transformation tells a different story. Some celebrities lost weight through discipline and healthier lifestyles, while others experienced changes caused by illness, emotional struggles, aging, or the pressures of life in the spotlight. What often makes headlines is a photograph. But what truly matters is the journey behind it. These stories remind us that appearances rarely reveal the full truth. Behind every famous face is a human being facing challenges, setbacks, and personal victories just like anyone else. Instead of judging people by how they look, perhaps the greatest lesson is to value resilience, compassion, and the strength to keep moving forward.
Yes, I started modeling
Which
when I was
celebrity's
16.
transformation surprised you the most, and whose story inspired you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
After the downs comes the
If you
I just
enjoyed
wanted
this
to say a
video,
massive
don't
thank
forget
you
to
to all
like,
of you.
subscribe,
Your support
and turn
really
on
means the world to
notifications
me, and
so you
I'm
won't
so
miss our
grateful.
next Then
This is
and
for
Now
you,
journey
and I will
into
see you all
Hollywood
again
history.
very soon.
Have you ever looked at a Hollywood legend and wondered, what happened to that unforgettable face? Some of the world's most admired celebrities chased eternal youth, only to become cautionary tales that shocked millions. But behind every dramatic transformation lies a story far more heartbreaking than the headlines ever revealed. Today, we'll revisit 20 of the most talked about celebrity plastic surgery disasters, compare their then and now appearances, uncover the pressures that pushed them toward life-changing decisions, and reveal the emotional consequences many never expected. Which transformation surprised you the most? And do you think Hollywood's beauty standards are to blame? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's begin. There was a time when Mickey Rourke was considered one of the most handsome and magnetic leading men in Hollywood. During the 1980s, his unforgettable performances in films like 9½ Weeks, Diner, and Angel Heart made him a symbol of rugged charm and undeniable charisma. Few could have predicted how dramatically his appearance and his life would change in the years that followed. At the height of his acting career, Rourke made the surprising decision to leave Hollywood and pursue professional boxing, a sport that subjected his face to repeated injuries and broken bones. Hoping to repair the damage, he underwent multiple reconstructive surgeries. Years later, Rourke admitted that several procedures produced disappointing results, explaining that he had trusted the wrong surgeons during a difficult period of his life. Instead of restoring his familiar features, the operations left him looking almost unrecognizable. Despite the physical transformation, Mickey Rourke never gave up on his passion for acting. His acclaimed comeback in The Wrestler reminded audiences that true talent cannot be erased by changing appearances. His journey serves as a powerful reminder that behind every shocking transformation is often a story of pain, resilience, and difficult choices, not simply vanity or the pursuit of perfection. Few artists changed the sound and style of hip-hop quite like Lil' Kim. Bursting onto the music scene in the mid-1990s as a member of Junior Mafia before launching a successful solo career, she became known for her fearless lyrics, unforgettable fashion, and unmatched confidence. To millions of fans, Lil' Kim represented strength, individuality, and the courage to stand out in an industry that often demanded conformity. Over the years, however, her changing appearance became almost as widely discussed as her music. Multiple cosmetic procedures, along with a noticeably lighter skin tone, fueled constant media speculation and public debate. Lil' Kim later revealed that years of emotional abuse in past relationships and relentless criticism of her appearance had deeply affected her self-esteem. Instead of seeing a confident superstar, she often saw someone who believed she wasn't beautiful enough. Her transformation sparked larger conversations about colorism, beauty standards, and the enormous pressure placed on Black women in the entertainment industry. While many people focused only on the physical changes, the real story was far more complicated. Behind every procedure was someone trying to heal emotional wounds while living under a relentless public spotlight. Lil' Kim's journey reminds us that confidence on stage doesn't always reflect confidence behind closed doors, and that fame can magnify insecurities just as easily as it magnifies success. At the turn of the millennium, Tara Reid was one of America's favorite young actresses. Her breakout role in American Pie made her an instant star, while films like Josie and the Pussycats and Van Wilder cemented her place as one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces. With her bright smile and effortless charm, she seemed destined for an even bigger career. Everything changed after she underwent cosmetic procedures that did not go as planned. A breast augmentation and body contouring surgery left her with visible complications, including an uneven abdomen that she later described as deeply upsetting. For years, paparazzi photos magnified every imperfection, turning her private medical experience into endless tabloid headlines. Rather than celebrating her work as an actress, the media became obsessed with her appearance. To her credit, Tara Reid chose not to hide from the experience. She openly discussed the physical and emotional impact of the surgeries, hoping her story would encourage others to think carefully before making life-changing decisions. While the unwanted attention affected both her confidence and career opportunities, she continued acting and gradually rebuilt her life. Tara's journey is a reminder that even successful celebrities can become victims of unrealistic beauty expectations, and that one difficult chapter should never define an entire career or a person's true worth. During the early 1990s, Lara Flynn Boyle became one of television's most unforgettable stars. Her haunting performance as Donna Hayward in Twin Peaks made her a household name, while roles in films such as Wayne's World and Men in Black further established her as a talented actress with a distinctive beauty. With her expressive eyes and elegant features, she represented the effortless glamour that defined an era of Hollywood. As the years passed, however, public attention gradually shifted away from her acting and toward her changing appearance. Rumors of cosmetic procedures intensified after she appeared with noticeably fuller lips and altered facial features. Whether every procedure was confirmed or not, the constant scrutiny surrounding her face quickly overshadowed the impressive body of work she had built throughout her career. Instead of discussing her performances, magazines and entertainment programs focused almost entirely on speculation about her appearance. Lara Flynn Boyle has rarely spoken publicly about the rumors, leaving much of the conversation to the media and public opinion. Her story illustrates how quickly Hollywood can reduce a respected actress to tabloid headlines centered on looks rather than talent. It also serves as a reminder that aging in the spotlight comes with extraordinary pressure. For many celebrities, the greatest challenge isn't growing older. It's living in an industry that rarely allows them to do so without relentless judgment. Long before cosmetic surgery became a common topic in entertainment news, Lin May was celebrated as one of Mexico's most glamorous performers. Rising to fame during the 1970s and 1980s, she built a successful career as a dancer, actress, and cabaret star. Her striking beauty, magnetic stage presence, and confidence made her a cultural icon throughout Latin America, earning admiration from audiences far beyond Mexico. As the years passed, however, the pressure to preserve her youthful appearance led her to seek cosmetic enhancements. According to Lin May, what she believed were beauty injections turned into a life-altering mistake when unqualified individuals injected a mixture of cooking oil, baby oil, and water into her face instead of approved cosmetic fillers. The severe complications left her with permanent facial deformities, requiring numerous corrective procedures over the years. Rather than restoring her appearance, each attempt became another difficult chapter in a long struggle. Unlike many celebrities who chose to remain silent, Lin May openly shared her painful experience and repeatedly warned others about the dangers of trusting unlicensed cosmetic treatments. Her story is no longer just about beauty or aging. It is about misinformation, desperation, and the devastating consequences of unsafe procedures. Today, her journey stands as a powerful reminder that protecting one's health will always matter more than chasing an impossible standard of perfection. Raji Narayana Singh's story is one of the most heartbreaking examples of how the desire to look and feel like yourself can be exploited. A transgender woman from Florida, Raji spent years searching for acceptance and confidence in a world that often judged her harshly. Like many others seeking affordable cosmetic procedures, she placed her trust in someone who promised dramatic results without the high cost of licensed medical treatment. That decision changed her life forever. The person she believed was performing cosmetic injections was later exposed as an unlicensed practitioner who injected dangerous substances, including cement, mineral oil, and industrial materials, into her face. Painful lumps, severe facial deformities, and recurring infections followed, leaving Raji physically and emotionally devastated. Her case attracted national attention and eventually became one of the most widely reported cosmetic fraud scandals in the United States. Fortunately, Raji refused to give up. With the help of skilled reconstructive surgeons and years of treatment, she gradually regained both her appearance and her confidence. She has since shared her experience publicly to educate others about the dangers of illegal cosmetic procedures and the importance of seeking qualified medical professionals. Raji Narayanasinghe's journey is not simply about surviving a cosmetic disaster. It is a powerful story of resilience, hope, and turning unimaginable hardship into a mission to protect others from making the same tragic mistake. Bella Hadid has become one of the defining supermodels of her generation, walking for the world's biggest fashion houses and appearing on countless magazine covers. With her striking features and unmistakable runway presence, she quickly rose to the top of the fashion industry. Yet despite her extraordinary success, discussions about her appearance have often overshadowed her accomplishments. For years, the internet has been filled with side-by-side then and now photos, fueling endless speculation about cosmetic procedures. Bella has acknowledged undergoing a nose job at the age of 14, a decision she later admitted she regretted. However, she has consistently denied having extensive facial surgeries or relying on fillers to achieve her current look. Even so, every public appearance continues to spark fresh debates, with critics dissecting every detail of her face instead of recognizing the dedication behind her career. Bella has spoken candidly about struggling with anxiety, low self-esteem, and the pressure of growing up in the spotlight. Her experience reflects a larger reality in today's entertainment and fashion industries, where social media magnifies unrealistic beauty standards and invites constant comparison. Whether the rumors are true or not, Bella Hadid's story reminds us that living under relentless public scrutiny can be just as emotionally exhausting as any cosmetic procedure. Sometimes, the greatest burden isn't changing your face. It's feeling that the world expects you to keep changing it forever. When Megan Fox burst onto the Hollywood scene in the mid-2000s, she quickly became one of the industry's biggest stars. Her breakout performances in Transformers and Jennifer's Body, combined with her striking features and undeniable screen presence, earned her a reputation as one of the most beautiful women in the world. To many fans, she seemed to embody effortless perfection. Ironically, that image also brought relentless scrutiny. Over the years, comparisons between old and new photographs fueled constant speculation about cosmetic enhancements. While Megan has acknowledged receiving Botox and undergoing a breast augmentation, she has firmly denied many of the more dramatic claims circulating online, insisting that much of her changing appearance can be explained by makeup, aging, photography, and natural weight fluctuations. Nevertheless, every public appearance continues to spark fresh debates about whether she has had additional procedures. Beyond the rumors, Megan has spoken openly about struggling with body dysmorphia, revealing that she has never truly seen herself the way others do. Her honesty exposed a painful reality hidden behind celebrity glamour. Even women widely considered among the world's most beautiful can battle deep insecurities. Megan Fox's story reminds us that physical beauty does not guarantee inner confidence. In Hollywood, where perfection is often expected but never attainable, the greatest challenge may not be changing your appearance. It may be learning to accept yourself despite the endless judgment of others. As we've seen today, every dramatic transformation tells a story far deeper than a before and after photograph. Behind the headlines, the rumors, and the shocking images are real people who faced extraordinary pressure to remain young, attractive, and relevant in an industry that rarely forgives aging. Some sought confidence. Others hoped to repair injuries or overcome painful insecurities. But many discovered that changing the outside could never fully heal what was happening within. Perhaps the greatest lesson from these journeys is that true beauty cannot be measured by flawless features or impossible standards. It grows from self-acceptance, confidence, and the courage to embrace who we are at every stage of life. Before we judge someone's appearance, it's worth remembering that we rarely know the struggles hidden behind their smile. Which story affected you the most? And do you believe Hollywood's beauty standards have done more harm than good? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and join us again for more fascinating stories from Hollywood's past and present. Until next time, take care. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. See you in the next one.